very informal, very chilled, just fun. The idea that we're wanting to do here is sort of find out and chat to you about what got you into the sport, what the sport means to you. You're here representing your country, and what got you to that level, and what keeps you there, because I have a sense you'll be back. So yeah, Michael Rodriguez, thank you for sitting down with us.
Oh, thank you for having me, Nick.
Cool, awesome, thank you. So tell us a little bit of background about who you are, and then we can chat about the lifting.
Okay. Well, like you said, I'm American.
Yep. We don't hold that against you. It's fine.
I was born in Kansas City. Go Chiefs.
Okay.
And then as a kid, we moved to Florida. My dad had a business. I started working at a very young age at 12.
Wow.
And then after high school and college, I went in the Army.
Okay.
And spent 9 years on active duty. Spent my first 3 years in Germany. Mm-hmm. Then I went to Panama. Was in Panama for the small war there against Noriega.
Yeah.
And then during that conflict, I got injured pulling one of my soldiers from an ambush and messed up my shoulder. So after the things calmed down, I had surgery, and then the sutures were contaminated.
Oh, wow.
And when I went back to get them out, I ended up having emergency surgery, spent a few days in a coma, and when I woke up, they told me I might lose my arm. I lost most of my rear deltoid and a good portion of my lateral deltoid, medial deltoid. Mm-mm. So I thought you're young, you think your life is over. I thought the Army was going to kick me out because my arm was paralyzed. I spent 6 weeks in a hospital getting multiple surgeries done. And I was a paratrooper at the time.
Okay, sure.
And so then by the time I get out of the hospital, Desert Shield is kicking off.
Right.
My arm is paralyzed. I'm afraid to get kicked out. So I volunteer to go over there so I can hide out in combat.
Okay, fair enough.
And because of that, because my right arm doesn't work and I'm carrying all my stuff with my left, I ended up messing up the left. But I got out of the Army and went into law enforcement, became a special agent in the FBI.
Okay,
fantastic. And I had a wonderful career there. Retired with 22 years of service out of the FBI. I was primarily a SWAT guy. Mm-hmm. So I was a sniper. I became a medic because of some of the missions that we were doing. And as a sniper, we kind of go out on our own.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? If I get hurt out here in the middle of nowhere, I need to know how to treat myself or my partner. So I went through the Navy's EMT school.
Okay.
And then later on, I became the team commander. I was a team commander in one office, and then I transferred. Thought my career in SWAT was over. Ended up getting sucked back in, operator, and then medic, and then became team commander again. And I did that till I retired.
Okay. So I'm looking forward to reading the book. It's from battlefield to battlefield.
Yeah, But it was when you live that life, you don't think it's interesting. You're just like, oh, it's my job.
Yeah.
And but then when I look back at some of the things, it was very fun or interesting, I guess I should say.
So at least when the book does come out, we can say, well, you heard it here first.
That's it.
From battlefield to bar. So what got you into lifting?
So, as you can tell, I'm not a man of large stature. In high school, I had a neck injury my freshman year playing American football.
Right.
And so my sophomore year, the doctor said I couldn't play contact sports anymore. And I was pretty thin kid. I hadn't even broke 100 pounds yet.
Okay.
So in America, they do announcements in the morning. And so around in the fall sometime, they said, hey, are you a 98-pound weakling? If so, come join the weightlifting club.
Right.
And I'm like, I had lifted weights for football a little bit, but I'm like, whoa. I'm like, well, I only weigh like 95 pounds, so maybe I'll gain some weight.
Right. Yep.
So I joined the high school weightlifting team, and I fell in love.
Okay.
It's just, I was like, oh, I'm getting stronger and stronger, and of course that was the '70s, Arnold Schwarzenegger
Yep.
and Franco Columbo
Yeah.
and just all those guys, and so after high school, I joined a kind of like a powerlifting gym,
Right.
and they're like, hey, you need to be on our team. And so I started powerlifting. I don't know if you've ever heard of Lamar Gant. He was
Absolutely.
so I was a 132 back then. I don't know what
Okay.
that is in kilos.
Yeah.
And I had been winning, and all of a sudden here's this guy, Lamar Gant, the nicest man in the world, and I'm just a teenager.
Yeah.
And I'm competing against this guy. He's crushing me by 100 pounds, so by
Right.
50 kilos after after we finished bench.
Yes.
So on his first deadlift, he's going for a world record, like 600 pounds,
Okay.
and he doesn't get it. And in the old days of powerlifting, your second attempt, you had to go up a minimum of 10 pounds, 5 kilos.
Okay.
And so I ended up winning, and I learned something that day that's super important. No matter what I can do in the gym working out,
Right.
you have to go by how you feel that day, and you have to be honest with yourself.
Yes,
Is the bar moving fast
absolutely.
in your warm-ups, or is it moving
Yeah.
slow? And so I personally, I've never bombed out. And I felt horrible for him, but then that day I won my weight class, and I won best lifter because
Wow.
the best lifter in the world
Yeah.
made a tactical error.
Okay.
Um,
That's the beauty of the sport, though, as well.
Yeah,
right?
it's crazy. I mean, today I thought I went from not being ranked, I was ranked 4th,
Right.
to my final attempt going for the gold, and ended up getting bronze because of body weight.
Right. Right.
So you never, I didn't think I was going to win a medal today, and fortunately I was able to. So
Fantastic. So what keeps you coming back? What keeps you at the top of your game? Because to represent your country, and particularly the US, it's not a country of 600,000 people.
Yeah.
Nothing against Luxembourg, but but it's a big pool to draw on. So what keeps you at the top?
It's probably a bad attitude, but it's served me in. I was an Army Ranger,
Right.
and SWAT, kind of like you. I have that drive that I want to be with the best,
Right.
and in competition, I want to compete with the best.
Absolutely.
And
Well, I'll make a Ranger joke. You want to lead the way.
What?
There. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Fantastic.
so that's it's. I love competition. When in the military, when you're on the range, you're competing against
Yep.
SWAT, the same thing.
Yes.
You're shooting for bragging rights or whatever, so you lose that camaraderie also when you step away from that environment, and so you're able to some of these guys I met for the first time last year in Kazakhstan,
Right.
and we've become good friends.
Yeah.
And it's just that camaraderie. In the international lifters, so nice, so humble, such good people, and so it brings me joy. I
Yes,
guess. I guess
okay.
that's what keeps me coming
Right.
back. It brings me, it's fun. It just brings me joy.
I think that's what's so wonderful about this sport. It's the people you're competing against. The guys you're chasing the medals with are the ones screaming the loudest for you.
Yeah.
And the ones cheering you on the most, because they get better, you have to get better. So it's absolutely fantastic. Anyone considering the sport, what would you tell them? Anyone looking at it?
I would say do it. Don't hesitate. Like, oh, I need to get so strong. Like I'm gonna put I want to be able to squat 200 kilos, bench 150 kilos, and deadlift 200 kilos. No. Don't wait. Put your foot in there, because what you're gonna find is when you go to the meet, you're gonna meet a bunch of wonderful people.
Yes.
They're gonna encourage you. I had a meet I did in San Antonio, Texas, and this guy comes up to me. He's like, "Hey," and I was lifting equip that day, and he's like, "Here, let me help you with your shirt." And then he ended up helping me throughout the entire meet, and like, "Okay, hey, look, this is what I saw on your bench. Let's do this, and you want me to pick your numbers, and you meet great people like that. So don't. The first meet is just to have fun, get experience, and you're gonna meet some great people that are gonna, I guess we call it widen your aperture.
Yes. Yep.
So because you're looking in the mirror and you're seeing some things, or you've got your phone out and it's on a tripod and it's filming you, but a guy that's got a good eye is going to see some very important little things that you're not picking up just because you're not trained. And when you go to the meets, you're going to get that exposure, and you'll like, why did that guy get a red light? And so all these little things you're just able to pick up on and get some great training tips as well.
Fantastic. And I think that's when you say that, it frustrates me as well with when I coach, because guys are saying, no, when I get to this level, I'll compete. It's like you want to train so you've got winning numbers, and then you're going to get on the platform. That's not what the sport's about. It's about your time on the platform. That's the thing. It's like trying to train in martial arts that you're going to win your first fight when you step on the mat. You're probably not. The only time I've seen that is there's another athlete, Simon Bretsky. He's a South African, and I coached him. He came to me. He won provincials. His first comp was provincial, won that. Then second competition was nationals, and he won that. But he was a freak sort of rugby player, super strong machine. And then he broke the South African squat record in his division at Worlds. So his third competition was Worlds.
Wow.
That doesn't happen often.
No.
You could tell the guys that as well.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, it's fantastic. Is there anything you would like to add?
I would like to say how I got back in this. I had a long gap because of life. We're all working and doing things, and between the military and the FBI, I travel a lot. So as I was getting close to retirement, I had a small gym in my garage. I normally worked out at work, and my boys are asking me. They were younger and asking me questions like, "Hey, Dad, you used to compete."
Yes.
And why don't we do a meet together? And so I'm like, "Are you serious?" And they're like, "Yeah, let's do a meet." So I get on my phone, I Google, local meets. I'm like, well, there happens to be a meet this weekend or next weekend.
Right.
And so then, like I just said, don't be afraid, do your first meet. Well, then my boys chickened out, and I paid money. And,
yeah.
And they're like, "No, Dad, we'll just cheer for you."
Yeah.
So I went and I did it, and I won. And so I have to give a lot to where I am right now to my boys and my wife, because they reignited that fire. And then once I got on the platform competing again, it's like, oh, I missed this.
Right.
And
so do you think they did that on purpose? Trying to sneak you back onto the platform?
Yeah, I guess so. And because I work out at home, they're my spotters. My oldest boy is my primary spotter.
Right.
I wait for him to get home from work or on his day off to do my heavy work. And my wife used to spot me, but the weights have gotten considerably heavier now, so she's like, I know I'm not. I'm not doing.
Well, the way you can deal with that is to get her starting to lift in competition.
Oh well, I wish I could get her to, but she's a businesswoman. She has her own business. She's very, very occupied, so she gives me that excuse.
Okay, fair enough. Do you believe that excuse? Yeah. You're watching the body language when she's talking to you.
She's a great lady. I'm not going to
Okay.
say anything to
No,
get
no,
myself in trouble.
Absolutely not. Me neither. I mean, you were telling us about all the extra ties. Getting myself into. You can
Yeah.
blame me for that. Oh, like, thank you so much. How have you found it being back on the platform now? Is it what you were expecting, or a
Yeah,
little bit more?
it's I'm my own harshest critic.
Mm-hmm.
So in all my years of competing, I've only not taken gold twice,
Okay.
and that was at last year's World Bench Press Championships in Kazakhstan.
Yes.
I hit the rack and got 2 red lights that
Oh,
day,
okay.
lifting for the gold, and
Right.
then today was the second. I was going for the gold,
Mm-hmm.
and my arm didn't lock all the way out,
Okay.
but I can take it better this year because I wasn't even supposed to take a medal today
Right.
in raw and classic because I usually compete equipped.
Okay.
So, but it's it's a great test. Even if I didn't medal today, it was just fun again being back with the American teammates, the
Yes.
friends I made last year, and I'm looking
fantastic.
forward to helping the rest of our team. I'm gonna be here changing plates while they warm up and
Right,
doing
right.
whatever I can to help them as well.
Okay. Fantastic. When are you doing the equipped?
On the 25th,
Okay. What time?
we're in the morning
Okay.
because
alright.
again the
The guys
Masters.
can, those who want to, cheer and put up some.
Oh
comments
yeah,
and-
yeah. I'll take
do
all
it.
the cheering I can get.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, man. We really appreciate you sitting down with us and taking the time. We're doing this because we love the sport, and I understand just a little bit of my background. I've been sober for 16 years, and my drinking was completely and utterly out of hand, and this saved my life in terms of not dying, but having a quality of life. So we've been able to we set up the gym. We have a gym in Johannesburg. We have a development academy where we train and support young athletes from disadvantaged communities, either to help them in their sport. Because seeing kids from challenged backgrounds with the courage and the fire to be the best and to get scholarships or bursaries, which is the only way of getting out of poverty. The sport gives them that boost. And it's also, we got like a couple of great coaches that run our gyms now that have all come through the program. It's like I wouldn't have this life that I do today.
Well,
if I had
that's
this,
awesome. That's so inspiring. I would, in my both of my previous professions, unfortunately, because of the high amount of stress,
Yeah.
they
Sure.
call it hypervigilance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually, our guys, my friends, they don't get to enjoy their retirement because
Yes.
within 18 months, 60% of them have died.
Right. Yeah.
And,
Sure.
and so I knew that before I retired, and I was looking for something. Okay, what am I going to do? Because I retired from the FBI. I went back to the Army, did a few years in the Army, retired from that
Right.
at 60. And I kind of knew, I knew, again, prior to your retirement, they start giving you all these little classes to warn you about
Yes.
post-retirement life and what you need to do. So, like, this saved you from alcoholism.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this saves me from, and it gives me something to focus on, to take those energies.
Yep.
Because I feel bad for so many people that retire and then they just sit and they watch television.
Sure. You talk about hypervigilance, but it's also hyper energy. You're an energy machine, and that's why you were able to do as much as you did. That's why. Same with me. Like, we're running the podcast. I have a gym. We have a music company. We produce music for the live streams. All of these different things, because otherwise, sitting still would be terrifying.
I mean,
So,
we're machines, and just
Yep.
like your car has to be run
Yep,
and
that's it.
maintained. If you park that, it's like I get so upset with these people that buy these $1 million cars and then park them. And it's like, don't you understand that
Yeah.
everything's drying up and
Yeah.
rotting by being parked? That it's a machine. It needs to
Yep.
be used, and your body's the same way. I've had 18 orthopedic surgeries
Sure.
and 2 heart surgeries,
Right.
and the one thing my doctor encourages me to do is to keep moving.
Yeah, that's it.
When I don't exercise, when I'm not doing something, that's when I'm in the most pain. I'm in
Right.
pain always, but like anything, there's levels of pain.
Yeah.
And if I like stop exercising because I'm busy with something and I'm tired at the end of the day and I don't want to do it, that's when I start like feeling all my aches and pains.
Yeah.
And so I encourage anybody, especially us senior,
More mature.
more mature
yeah.
people to it doesn't have to be heavy. I mean, first of all, we don't want you to start heavy unless you've been doing something, but
Yeah.
start doing something. Do some push-ups, do some walking, and then just build from there.
That's it, yeah.
And dip your toe into powerlifting. Again, a lot of great people, and it's fun. It's a great community.
Yeah. It's a wonderful community. I mean, look at it. Just like meeting at the pool yesterday at breakfast.
Yeah.
And, now we're chatting.
Yeah.
It's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, you
Like,
kept me from getting pooped on by a bird.
I did. A rock pigeon. And when I saw what that bird had done, I mean, when they put a warning sign on the floor next to it. So it's a healthy pigeon. Oh, Mike, thank you for your time, man. Thanks for sitting down with us. That was fantastic, though.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. All right, let me just stop the recording. And that was awesome.